Doing repetitive tasks can be boring, and since it's human dependent, it might not go as expected. That's where automation comes in. In this video, we're going over CI/CD, continuous integration, and continuous deployment using GitHub Actions. So, say we have a Node.js application. Every time we want to publish our app, we have to npm run test, npm run build, scp to the server to copy our files to the server, and ssh to the server to restart pm2 process. But we can use a tool called GitHub Actions to do repetitive tasks for us. I have created a simple Vite, React, and Vitest boilerplate and put it in a repository. What I want to do is first test my application. Then I want to build my application. And then I want to build these artifacts like index.html and CSS and JavaScript files into GitHub Pages using GitHub Actions. Here's how. If we want to create our own actions, we come here into Actions tab. These are the templates that you can use in order to make your own configuration file, but we're going to set up a workflow for ourselves. I'm going to call it CI/CD. You can call it whatever you want. And in here, I have to call this process DevOps GitHub Actions introduction. Okay, this tells repository and GitHub when to trigger and when to run this file. You can use any type you see on this screen. For example, whenever someone makes a pull request to this repository, run another task, run another file. Whenever someone creates an issue or fork my project, do this. But I want to deploy my app whenever I make changes to the repository, which is a push. The next thing is the jobs, the things I want to do in order to make my application. First, we wanted to test, then build, and then finally deploy our application to GitHub Pages. Okay, runs on tell GitHub Actions to use which operating system. For example, Ubuntu latest is the version that I want to use. You can choose between either macOS, any Linux, and Windows operating system. Steps. These are the steps that I want to take in order to test my application. The first one is checkout code that uses actions. In the first step, I want to check out my application and copy the files that are in my repository to this Ubuntu server. We are going to use a template called actions/checkout at version 3. In this step, we want to set up a Node project and install Node version 18 in Linux. Then we are going to install our dependencies via this command. You can use any Linux commands here. For example, if I want to echo something, I can. Okay. And for the last step, which is a key step for test job, we want to test out our application, which is defined in package.json file here, and it's gonna run vtest. Then for the second part, we want to build our application, but building needs, let's say it this way, these jobs are running in parallel and alongside each other. We want the first step, which is test, to complete, then we can build our project. First, our application needs to be tested, then you can run this step. If this step fails, then the rest of them should fail as well. Okay, until here, the steps are similar to the previous job, so I'm not going over it again. But note that I've removed npm run install in here since I wanted to just go for the installation. What we want to do instead of test in this job is to build our project. Npm run build. And in the last step, we want to upload these files, these static files that we've built, in some place that we can use later, which is deployment, which is in the last job that we were on. This job is also depends on the previous one, which is build. And here we are downloading the previously uploaded artifacts using this template from this path file. Then we are going to deploy our downloaded files into GitHub Pages using this template and with this token and with the given file URL. In here, we are passing two parameters to this template. First one is GitHub token, which is secrets.github token. We can call it whatever we want, but remember this secret. This is like an env file, but since we are in a repository, we have to set our environment variables in another place for repository. This is the published directory that we are going to use and put it in GitHub Pages. So let's commit this file and let's see. Create a CI/CD template, and there we go. So if we come back to this Actions tab, we can see here that is failing. Why? Let's go over here and find out. Every step must define uses or run key. Did I miss something? Oh, yeah. I have misused all the dashes in here. And here. We're good. Let's commit date this file, get back to Actions. Now what? Uses attribute must be a path, a Docker image. I must have misspelled something. Yeah, I have misspelled here. I put a space here and build job. Rather than that, it's all good. I have missed some indent files or something. I'm gonna GitHub Actions. I'm gonna commit changes and you can use this. You can use this file, come into this repository. I'll put a link to this repository and you can download this workflow file. Now, for the moment of truth, yeah, it's working. But wait a minute. Is it working though? Yes. So far, we are seeing the tests by clicking here are installing dependencies. It may take a while. It passed our test and starts our building process. In our building process, we are waiting for our codes to copy and installing Node. And in the last step, we got an error. Why is that? We can see action failed with not found deploy key or tokens. You were right, because we didn't enter GitHub token right here. We didn't put it in. So in order to create your own token, we have to come here, settings, In settings, you have to come here, developer settings, personal access tokens, tokens classic. You have to generate a new token, classic one, and give it a name, test for CI/CD, for example, an expiration date, and click on here for giving access to all repository permissions and generate tokens. I'm gonna copy this token and come back to my repository, go to repository settings, come here and secrets and variables, actions, new repository secret, give it a name,
Why are you gay?
Github token is the name that we use in here, Github token, double check, paste the token here, add that secret, come back to the actions. Okay, I hit commentatory like this. We want to rerun all failed jobs, or it's an optional, we can rerun all jobs, but since the last job failed, I want to rerun all the failed jobs only. And we wait here. And you see here the green circle, finally. Okay, when we come back here to this repository, we here see it created another branch called Git Pages. And when we come here in our deployments, it see the deployment of GitHub Pages are running. So these are the static files that we have uploaded, and we wait a little. Meow. I hope you have the patience. Guys, I wanna learn sign language. What do you think? I know how to say hi. Is this hi? Hi. Hi. And it deployed our app here. When it created a new URL. When we click on this URL, we can see the app running. When we make changes into this directory, I'm just gonna make changes here. Oh, this is working fine. It gets updated, hopefully. We come here to the actions first. We wait a little. Do I have to sit down and think? This is hard. That's what she said. And you see here, our deployments are done. And we can see this is working fine. Finally. So, last but not least, if you're deploying your own application, make sure to modify this file with .config.js for your repository name, and your package.json file, give it to the property called homepage, and give it your GitHub Pages URL, which is your username.github.io/your repository name. Alright guys, this was the last video of this series. So let me know if you have any questions. I hope you have learned something in this series. And take care. Bye-bye.